Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabha. Hello everyone. So today I feel like talking about the true identity of Devadatta. Who exactly is Devadatta? So most people know Devadatta as the Buddha's evil cousin, the evil wrongdoer who did all kinds of evil deeds, including the gravest offenses such as to split the harmonious Sangha and to try to kill the Buddha for 3 times. But of course, all his attempts failed because no one could possibly kill the Buddha. The Buddha's merit was just too great. No one could possibly kill the Buddha, but he did shed the blood of the Buddha. So that's also one of the gravest offenses. And in the Visualization Sutra, we also knew that Devadatta even instigated Prince Ajatasattu to murder his own father, King Bimbisara. So he really did all kinds of evil deeds, and eventually the earth sucked him to the Avicii hell, the worst possible hell. So his body was literally sucked by the earth, swallowed by the earth, and dragged him down into the Avicii hell. So this was a real story. Maybe now we can't really see the hole where Devadatta fell into the Avicii hell, but according to the Tripitaka master Xuanzang, in his travel journal, Journey to the West, he did record it of seeing the hole where Devadatta fell into the hell realm. So, Devadatta is no doubt a very evil person. But in the Lotus Sutra, there is a particular chapter dedicated to Devadatta, and the Buddha revealed to us more of the background story. So I'm really here to trying to give you the whole image. So in that chapter, the Buddha said for countless eons past, he had been searching for the Lotus Sutra, this great Mahayana teaching. And for many past eons, he was a king. And he practiced the 6 parameters. He gave without holding back. He tried to reach the perfect enlightenment. And he was searching for this great unsurpassed teaching. And there was a sage who came to the king and said, I have a great vehicle teaching. It's called the Wondrous Lotus Sutra. If you do not disobey me, then I'll teach you about it. And the king was overjoyed, and he immediately provided him with everything he needed and served him tirelessly for many, many years. And the Buddha said he was the incarnation of the king at that time, and Devadatta was the sage at that time. So Devadatta was actually the Buddha's teacher at that time. So I'll quote directly from the sutra. Because Devadatta was a wise teacher, he enabled me to complete the 6 parameters: mercy, compassion, joy, and equanimity, 32 marks, 80 minor signs, the golden indestructible body, the 10 powers, the 4 fearlessness, the 4 means of embracing, the 18 uncommon spiritual powers. He enabled me to achieve perfect enlightenment and to save boundless sentient beings. All this happened was because Devadatta was a wise teacher. The Buddha said to the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen, countless eons after this, Devadatta will become a Buddha. His name will be called Heavenly King Tathagata, worthy of offerings, perfectly enlightened one, perfect in knowledge and conduct, well-gone one, knower of the world, incomparable leader, trainer of those fit to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, the Buddha, the world-honored one. In that future time, the Buddha Heavenly King will stay in the world for 20 middle eons, teaching living beings the wondrous teaching on a wide scale. Through his teachings, countless living beings will attain the fruit of Arahant, and countless living beings will attain the fruit of Pracchika Buddhas, and countless living beings will develop the aspiration for the supreme path and attain the endurance of the non-arising and reach the state of non-retrogression. So Devadatta was actually the Buddha's teacher in the past and taught the Buddha the Lotus Sutra. And even if Devadatta fell into the Avicii hell, but he will still realize the perfect enlightenment, he will still realize Buddhahood in the future, as evident in the Lotus Sutra. Another sutra which was even more interesting, the Buddha said for countless eons ago, Devadatta had always been there and tried to harm him. So in that sutra, the Buddha also detailed all kinds of events that happened in the past and how every lifetime Devadatta tried to harm the Buddha. And the Buddha said because he encountered Devadatta, so he could swiftly realize Buddhahood. Remembering his kindness, he always extends his compassion and sympathy towards him. And the Buddha told Ananda to visit the hell realm to see how Devadatta is doing. So Ananda did as told. And I'll quote directly from the sutra because the story is just so fascinating, so interesting. At that time, the Tathagata instructed Ananda to go to hell to inquire about Devadatta's condition, ask whether he can endure the suffering. Then Ananda, receiving the Buddha's instruction, arrived at the gates of hell and said to a hell guard with an ox head, "Please summon Devadatta for me." The ox-headed guardian replied, "Which Buddha's Devadatta are you asking for? Every Buddha in the past had a Devadatta." Ananda said, "I'm calling for the Devadatta of Shakyamuni Buddha." Then the ox-headed guardian said to Devadatta, "Ananda is outside and wishes to see you." Devadatta responded, "Welcome, Ananda. Does the Tathagata still think of me with compassion?" Ananda said, "The Tathagata has sent me to ask, can you endure the pain and suffering?" Devadatta replied, "Though I reside in the Avicii hell, it's as if a bhikkhu enters the bliss of the third dhyana." So although Devadatta fell into the hell due to the law of karma, but he did not feel suffered because he's actually a great bodhisattva. The Buddha then said, "Great bodhisattvas, in cultivating skillful means to guide sentient beings, willingly undergo immeasurable suffering in samsara, yet do not consider it a burden. If anyone were to say, Devadatta was truly an evil person and has fallen into Avicii hell, such a statement would not accord with the truth." At that time, the Tathagata revealed to the great assembly the subtle and wondrous practices and profound skillful means of Devadatta. Then countless hundreds of thousands of bodhisattvas attained the endurance of the non-arising of dharmas. Countless hundreds of thousands gave rise to the aspiration for Anuttaya Sanya Sambodhi. And countless hundreds of thousands attained stages from Srutapana up to Arhatship. The deities of the sky rained celestial flowers over the entire assembly, played divine music, and radiated great light. They praised, "Excellent indeed, the Dharma spoken by the Tathagata is unprecedented." The Sutra of the Buddha's great skillful means in repaying kindness. So we should know that Devadatta is actually, in fact, Shakyamuni Buddha's teacher. So in the past, he would use all kinds of what we would call extreme, unconventional methods to torture the Buddha so he could quickly perfect the 6 parameters to realize Buddhahood much sooner than he was supposed to. So initially, we all know the future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha. Initially, Maitreya Bodhisattva was going to realize Buddhahood sooner than Shakyamuni Buddha. But Devadatta, who was the Buddha's teacher, observed that the sentient beings that have the karmic connection with Shakyamuni Buddha will get ripened sooner than those who have karmic connection with Maitreya Bodhisattva. So Devadatta thought Shakyamuni Buddha must realize Buddhahood earlier than Maitreya Buddha because those sentient beings were waiting for Shakyamuni Buddha. So he used all kinds of what we would call extreme unconventional means to test the Buddha, to torture the Buddha, so the Buddha could swiftly realize Buddhahood. Without Devadatta, Shakyamuni Buddha probably could not realize Buddhahood sooner than Maitreya Buddha. So Shakyamuni Buddha actually is very grateful for Devadatta for being his teacher, for teaching him the Lotus Sutra, and also for countless eons, every lifetime, Devadatta was there to accompany him, to test him, to torture him. So he could cultivate forbearance, patience, compassion, diligence, etc. So he could quickly accomplish the 6 parameters, the 4 immeasurable minds, etc. So we know that every Buddha has his Devadatta. So for great bodhisattvas, like bodhisattva mahasattvas, don't think that they will only take up the good roles. They will always be nice and kind. No, there are also Devadattas. Without the evil, we don't know the good. Without the darkness, we don't know the light. But for Devadatta trying to kill the Buddha, and we could still see that the Buddha was so calm, unmoved, and all that, we knew that he was really the Buddha, the perfect enlightened one. So if we've encountered someone in our life, maybe they always, try to against us, to do evil things to us, to badmouth you, to slander you, to harm you, you could treat them as Devadatta. Maybe it's your Devadatta. It's a bodhisattva who come and try to test you, test your forbearance, test your patience, test your compassion, test your loving kindness, etc. So he can help you to quickly realize Buddhahood. So we have to be very grateful for those people in our life that could actually harm us, that could actually hurt us. They're really our mirror to tell us to let go of our attachment and to cultivate compassion. So that's why we should treat all beings as the Buddhas, as the Bodhisattvas, like the first great vow of the practices and vows of Bodhisattva Samadabhadra, to pay homage to all Buddhas. Not only those who have realized Buddhahood, but really to all sentient beings, because all sentient beings have the Buddha nature. And also the 13th patriarch of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism, Master Yin Guang, the manifestation of Bodhisattva Maitreyaparipṛcchā, he also told us that to treat all beings as the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and only ourselves as the ordinary being. In that way, we can also realize Buddhahood quickly. So next time, if you encounter a so-called evil person, so treat him as a great bodhisattva who come here to test you, to test to see how good is your practice, how good is your cultivation. So treat everyone as the Buddhas, the bodhisattvas, and you will not go wrong. You can quickly progress on your path. Okay, I hope this helps. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Amitabhaya.